Hi everybody, this is Danny Class, and today we are going to learn how to strum without a pick. The fingerstyle way of playing the guitar, again, usually we mean referring to the right hand, is designed to kind of take apart notes and to play arpeggios or perhaps single scale lines or whatever. And it works well for that, but of course you can still strum without a pick, and I don't know if there are too many lessons out there on how to do this, but it's really quite simple, and I thought it would be worth our time to kind of go through this and to make some things a little more obvious that you might be thinking about as you play, like, oh, that's probably how I do it, but this will hopefully clear it up. So yes, it is possible to strum the guitar without a pick. People have been doing it for, for a long time. And the method depends on a lot of things, but I guess I'll start with nails. I think that if you're going to do this, it'll be better for your sound. You'll get a clearer sound, bigger sound, if you have fingernails on all of your fingers, including the thumb, because it gives you, in a way, 5 picks, depending on which finger you want to use. So that would be the first thing to keep in mind. However, you don't need that, and if you want to just use your fingers without the nails, you can certainly still get a nice sound, a probably more mellow sound, but you might not be able to get the options, because with a nail, you can still use the fleshy part of your finger, but also the nail part too, and so you get different kinds of tonal options. Okay, so I am going to use a G chord today, as I did in the intro, only because a lot of you might know it already. It's a relatively easy chord to learn, and it's got all 6 strings, so that'll kind of really show how we can dig in with our right hand. Okay, so when it comes to strumming, you, I guess, ask yourself what feels comfortable on your right hand. For me, I don't use my thumb to strum. I suppose I could, but for me personally, I just don't like that I have to kind of, so you can bring this up here, open my hand to do that. I like to keep my fingers kind of close. And so therefore, I find that I use my index finger or even my pinky, which I can come back to in a second, to strum. And of course, the strumming pattern depends on the song, depends on what you're trying to do. I've heard people ask, well, I'm trying to learn a strumming pattern for this particular song, or to play with my bandmates, but I can't quite get the flow that I want. And to that I would say, just kind of feel it, you know? And I don't know how helpful that sounds, but for me personally, when I start thinking too much about what my right hand should be doing, then it doesn't really work so well. So in terms of striking the note, again, if you've got your nails, try maybe your index finger. That's what I'm doing right now. Back to the G chord. Try your middle finger. Try your index, your ring finger. Or yes, even try your pinky. Now, of course, for your pinky, because probably most people's hands, the pinky is that much shorter, the nail might need to be that much bigger. So if I come in closer, you can kind of see how my nail on my pinky is bigger. And so, but that might work out well for you when it comes to strumming. Now, the other thing to think about, try, after you do that, maybe compare and contrast that with a pick, and then you can see how maybe close it is to the sound of a pick. But from my perspective, as someone who plays mostly fingerstyle, I think it's a good thing to use, because you might find yourself that you want to strum and you don't necessarily need a pick to do it. And there's different variations, of course, because just depending on what the song calls for, you can do like little trills. Or whatever might be the case. So that's the basic idea of strumming. So just try out your chords that you like, it doesn't matter, and just practice and get a feel for the guitar. A couple of things to keep in mind. Your right hand probably shouldn't be flying off. Maybe the moment of the music might carry you away, but it's good to kind of keep it close to home, really close to the strings. So you can not have to think about where your hand is. So that could be an interesting thing to practice on your chord progressions instead of strumming with a pick. Just try strumming with your fingers and see what you get. Okay, so that is the basic idea. Again, grow out your nails. That'll help you a lot with power, and try on your right hand which fingers feel the best for you, and you'll get the feel that you want. When it comes to nails, there's lots of videos on YouTube and elsewhere on proper nail care, but one thing to keep in mind is to keep them, as far as length goes, it just kind of depends, but basically a little bit over your fingertip, and depending on how thick your nails are, as blunt as possible, meaning that you don't want to kind of get too much at an angle when you file them, that they are kind of thin, because they might break. But that does depend on individual nails, because some of you might have naturally kind of thick nails, some of you might have nails that aren't so thick. And if you find that your nails are breaking a lot, then there's different things to do. I've tried a lot of them. I've tried painting super glue. I've tried painting just like hard nail polish, and nothing for me really worked that well, other than just making sure that I file them pretty often, and making sure that they are, as at the end point, pretty blunt. So that is the lesson today. Hopefully you found it useful. Please remember to hit subscribe, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.